Hey guys, welcome to a new reading vlog where I'll be reading both Don't Cry For Me and Isaac's Song by Daniel Black. I didn't introduce this video, I didn't know how to introduce this video, so I'm here with the voiceover to let y'all know what's going on. I didn't expect this video to be that long, but that's what happens. So, anyways, check in to see how I feel about both books and if I want you guys to read them too. Bye. So I've been eating up Don't Cry For Me. I read a lot of it at home and I read some of it at work on my downtime moments. I'm on 116. There's only 300 pages. So it's a quick read, it's a fast read, it's an easy read. And it's a really good read. Like, I see why the girls are so hyped about Isaac's Song because Don't Cry For Me is even down and Isaac's Song is probably even better. This book so far, it centers Isaac's father on his deathbed, and it's going through his childhood and other parts in his life, like him when he meets Isaac's mom, him as an adult with Isaac as a child, and how he treats other people. And right now, I can't tell if his father is trying to apologize to his son without anything in return. Like, he's writing through letters, so it's not like he'll be able to get an actual response. Or if Daniel Black is having him try to forgive himself. Like, I don't know yet if he's asking for forgiveness or he just wants all of the bad things he's done in his past to be just forgiven because he suddenly feels awful now that he's dying, and he has he's reflecting over his life and his behavior, especially towards his son and a kid he grew up with. I'm not going to go into that specifically because that would be a spoiler. But it's going through loss and grief, sexual assault, queerness and whatnot, fatherhood, and Black life. So I'm enjoying the story right now. I'm almost halfway done, obviously, and I'll probably finish it either not if not today, tomorrow, and then I'll move on to Isaac's song. So I have some books. I ordered a couple books from Bookshop, well, through Bookshop, from Call and Response, which is an indie bookstore in Chicago. I haven't been able to, because I'm stuck in the suburbs, visit them yet. But I know before they got their storefront, I did order through Bookshop to get books from them in the past. So let me show you the books I got from there. So I got Corregidor by Cale Jones. Yes, Olympus. You want to sniff the box? Go ahead, sniff the box. Sniff. Sniff my books out. I should have had this book a long time ago, but I'm finally getting around to getting it. And then I also have a classic, Copperstone by Count Cullen. Oh, I didn't expect it to be this small. But it's a book of poetry. And then I got my pre-order that should have been here when the book was released on Tuesday, but whatever, from Barnes & Noble. It is... Ooh. Now You Want to Play, Please Be Serious. Training Time Tran's second book, They Bloom at Night. I wanted the Barnes & Noble exclusive version. I like their first book, which is She Is a Haunting. Not a lot of people liked it. I loved it. A lot of people who had qualms with it either don't read horror, so I don't know why they picked this up. They don't like Gothic books, so I don't know why they picked this up. They claim they like Gothic, but they don't actually like Gothic or understand what Gothic is. Or they know they just like, they heard the hype and was like, okay, I'll read it. Like, no, that's not how it works. They didn't appreciate the book. I really love the book. And when they announced of their second book. Why is it looking like it's been used? Like, why is it like this at the bottom? It's ridiculous. It's a brand new book. Anyways, really stupid sticker I gotta take off. But anyways, when they announced their second book, I was like, I'm getting it. And so I did. It's a lot shorter than the first book. Yeah, it says 271 pages, not including the bonus chapter. But anyways, I'm excited to read this one. I really like their first book, so yeah, I'm excited for this one. Now I'm gonna get back to reading Don't Cry for Me. So it's Saturday. I've been spending the last almost 2 hours, I think, cataloging my books into Storygraph. I have a catalog in Excel on my computer, but I wanted to have a second spot to have all my books listed down. I have over 300, and I'm on 138 right now, and this is taking forever because I keep having to import books because they don't have the edition that I have, and I have to keep switching my books to a different edition because when I read them and put them in originally, I didn't pay attention to the edition, so I'd have them in the wrong edition. So yeah. So I now have less than 100 pages left. I'm sorry, I see now that Jacob, the main character, is now trying to ask for forgiveness. At first, I was like, I don't know if he just wants forgiveness just to absolve himself from his actions, but no, he's trying to amend for it. Yeah, it's this book is really good. I can't wait to get my own copy because I got these from the library. But right now, since I'm almost done, I do recommend this book, and I can't wait to get to Isaac's Song because if it's even half as good as this one, then this is gonna be a good reading month so far because I've been having a lot of misses, not enough hits so far this year. So yeah, I'll be back when I'm done to have my final thoughts. Okay, so I'm almost done with this book. I'm on not 226. Oh, I'm on the next page. Yeah, 226. And I just want to talk about this really important thing that happens in this book. So Jacob isn't a reader. He is not completely illiterate, but he's not the best at reading. He hasn't gone to school since he was I think he was 13 or 14 since he's been at school, so he had no reason to read anymore. And even as an adult, he just didn't really read. And so at one point, a while back in the book, his wife got this book that was the book about feminism, right? And it made her act a lot different than before and go work at women's shelters and whatnot. And so when he was really angry with her because she got really bold and whatnot with him. So he picked up that book, and that was the first book he picked up and tried to read in a very long time. And so he's like, oh, so this is why she's been behaving the way she shouldn't be behaving, because he was raised on patriarchal principles and the Bible and whatnot. So he thinks men and women should behave a certain way, and there's certain rules that they should follow by. And so he, that one book he read at that one time was really bad for him, right? And so in the future, he's older, he's alone, um, and Isaac has been on his own for quite some time now. He's living in Chicago, has his own career and whatnot. He hasn't spoken to him in a long time. He doesn't know what he's up to. And so his ex-wife gave him the book, the autobiography of Malcolm X. He's like, I'm not going to read this. But then he did finally pick it up, and he realized that he was ignorant. Well, he already knew he was ignorant about a lot of stuff, but he realized how ignorant he was about like being black, and not as in like not knowing what it's like to be black, but like um the political implications and whatnot about being black. And that gets him to like really start reading. So he started reading more books and realizing how much knowledge he could acquire from reading. And it got to this point where he ended up getting The Color Purple. And if you know, you know, this is during the time when the book was released. And so if you know, you know how black women viewed it versus how black men viewed it. And so he knew it was controversial. He just didn't know why. He didn't really pay attention to all that stuff, you know? So eventually he did pick it up after, because his friend gave it to him, gave him a copy. And then after a while, his ex-wife was like, you should read it, because of course she already read it. Do you want it? And so he did finally read it, and he realized, unlike how other black men viewed the book, he was realizing how fucked up he's been, how he's treated his family. His behavior was piss poor, and he realized through that book how his behavior and his granddad's behavior was not good. And it's like juxtaposing these two books, you know. He had the first book. I forgot what that first book was. But his views after that book versus in the future with The Color Purple, and how he took in what he got from that story. And it's like it was the nonfiction, also the nonfiction versus the fiction, but one piece of fiction was more relatable towards him, and then he was able to see from another perspective how his behavior was not okay, and how he really messed up over time. Seriously, Olympus. You see I'm trying to talk, and you over here ask for me to pet you like I don't pet you half the day. Anyways, so yeah. Seriously. Okay. But yeah, it's just interesting to see this character change. Like his character growth throughout the book, and how you gave me two toys, really. Pick one. You can't have both. And how his behavior changed through reading. How reading was something he didn't think was important, and then when he had nothing else left for him, he picked up a book, and then he couldn't stop reading. Like he used to watch his ex-wife and their kid read together and whatnot, and talk about books all the time, and he wanted nothing to do with that. And now that he's seeing how important reading was, and as he's trying to change his tone, and how reading is making also having him change his behavior and his views of the world, is like really interesting to see. Yeah, so for real this time, I'm not gonna come back until I'm done. I finished Don't Cry for Me. Daniel Black put his whole foot up in this book, ate down, left no crumbs. Like, that was powerful. And now I'm scared to read Isaac's song because I know it's gonna rip me to shreds. Like, that was so good. That's definitely a master class in characterization, character arcs, accountability, going through various themes without overdoing it and trying to fit a whole bunch of issues into one book like that. It was a very honest book. 5 stars, I recommend it. So I'm not gonna start Isaac's song today because it's like 6:35 p.m. So I'm gonna start it tomorrow, probably when I come home from work. If not, like sometime tomorrow. Yeah. No. Be nice. Ew, you're covered in slobber. Oh! You're a mess. So we're leaving the dog park. Someone's happy. And as you can see, I'm covered in dirt because there's never a time where I can leave the dog park without being covered in dirt, slobber, and hair. Because all the other dogs like to come up to me and get pets, and this fool gets upset when I'm petting other dogs. And he attacks me and other dogs because, well, he doesn't attack them, but like he jumps on me and pushes them out the way so I can pet him instead of them. But unfortunately, also while I was at the park, found out that my alma mater, UIC, the last school that I was waiting for PhD programs, rejected me. So I guess I have to be an independent researcher now because none of the PhD programs I applied to last year or this year care to give me a spot. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do stuff on my own, figure it out. But y'all finna eventually, no doubt, regardless of what happens, y'all gonna get my research and whatnot. So nothing's gonna stop me. So I'm gonna get home, change out of these messy clothes, feed this dog, wash my hair, and then get back to reading. So I'll check in later. Okay, actually, I don't feel like reading for the rest of the day. I'm just like over it. So I'm gonna read again tomorrow. So I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Okay, so there's a scene that's in both the books. Isaac is like, he painted an image for an exhibit, and Isaac said he was 14. So I'm trying to find out in Jacob's perspective how old he was, because Jacob said, I could have sworn Jacob said he was 12. And the whole thing is that in Isaac's songs that with his therapist, Isaac has been trying to like remember if his memories are right or if everything is like based off of emotions. And Jacob is dying in his book, so it's like that could be affecting his memory, and it's like memory is a big thing in both of these books, and how one remembers something versus another person remembering it. So now I don't remember how old he was. That's my problem. Like, no, I don't remember how old that his dad's claimed he was when this happened. Okay. Okay, so I was just remembering wrong. He did say he was 14. Okay. I'll just get back to this reading then. Clearly, my memory is the one that's the problem here, not theirs. Let me get back to this book. Okay, so one thing about Isaac, like he's a really creative person and he likes to write. And so he keeps talking about the short stories he's written, and I'm gonna need Daniel Black to drop a short story collection of just all of Isaac's stories, because clearly he needs to. Like, he shouldn't just be writing novels. He needs to drop a short story collection, even if it's like half-assed or whatnot, because genius. This man is genius. I need to get more of his books. I hope my library has more, but like, I'm gonna read more of Jacob Black's work because this is incredible.
Now is not a good time for the hay fever girlies because I can't breathe. But update, I'm on page. Well, today's Thursday. It's Thursday morning right now. I read a lot yesterday, especially at work. I'm on page 202, 203 really. I read 202 and then work got in the way. But so I've finished most of the book. It's on the pieces that's really talking about Isaac's queerness and his internalized homophobia, and how he's starting to realize that he's starting to see his father, well, both his parents, it talked about Rachel a little bit, but it's mostly about his relationship with his father and how he viewed Jacob, and he's starting to understand his father a little bit. I'm enjoying it, not as much as I did for Don't Cry For Me, but I don't know. It's a lot about his internalized homophobia, and it's like, going through trying to figure out his identity, like going through college and then becoming an adult living on his own. And it's like, I wish it would go deeper, more so like if he went a lot like the Daniel Black went a lot deeper with Isaac's childhood than he is with his young adulthood and adulthood, like grown adulthood. He's just like, I know he had a different life than his father did, but it still feels like surface level experiences. Like it's going over the surface level of his experience. I feel like it's not going deep enough, really, compared to his father's book and his father's experience. So I'll probably check back in when I finish the book, since I have like 100 pages left. Hey, so it's Saturday morning. I finished Isaac's song on Thursday night, but the pit comes on Thursday night, so I didn't bother to wrap up this vlog then because I had priorities. But coming here to tell you about my final thoughts for this book. I really enjoyed it. Okay. Don't hate me. Don't come for me or nothing. I think Don't Cry For Me was better. I gave this one 5 stars. Isaac's song, for the most part, was at 4 stars until the last few chapters, so I bumped it up to a 4.5 star rating. What I was wanting earlier, like what I said, is that he's still skating on the surface. He wasn't going as deep internally as I was waiting for him to do. Like Jacob in his book, he just went in almost right out the gate. So finally, later into the book of Isaac's song, he's finally really being honest with himself and with his therapist about his feelings in his past and how he was navigating his queerness as an adult from college to adult, like true adulthood. And that's what I was looking for, is for him to be like, I've been battling with my queerness, and it's because of how my father raised me and how all the stigmas that society has put around femininity and masculinity and manhood and whatnot, and how that affected his behavior, and how he was out but then he also wasn't really out, and how he didn't really he wasn't owning who he was completely. He just wasn't really proud of his queerness for such a long time, and that's what I was looking for. And the best part of this book
for me was how at the end he quit his job and he's like, I'm gonna write this book, and he was stuck. And what he did was go back down to his ancestral home. Like he didn't go back. He didn't just simply go back to Kansas. He did at one point go back to Kansas. So and then he found the letters from his father, which does help him. But he goes down to his father's home down in Arkansas. Arkansas is that? Was it Alabama, or Arkansas? I'm pretty sure Arkansas. Down south. He goes back to the land and he just starts writing because he realizes the story he's writing is about his father and his brother's story in a way. And he's realizing like that writing about trauma is not simply just writing about the bad things. It's writing about your feelings around all of it, all the suffering, you've like just getting your emotions out. And I think that's an important lesson, not just for him, but like in real life for a lot of people. They're like, I'm tired of all these trauma stories, all these slavery stories, but it's like, it's real life. It's reality. You can't just ignore it and just bypass it. If you don't want to read those type of series, then whatever. But complaining about it says a lot about you, and it's nothing good, honestly. But it was so important. I want to read out loud what he said. So it's in the end. It says, excuse my voice. Like, hay fever is whooping my butt right now. Like, I can barely breathe. My nose is always running and I'm stuffy and whatnot. So, bear with me. So he says, this is Isaac, by the way. I'm still not totally free. I can admit who I love, but I'm afraid to love them. That's why starting the story was hard for me, because I wanted a private freedom. Yet freedom is never private. It will not hide for you. It will not disguise story and free him. I would have whipped that white man's ass if I could, if he's referring to, like, in his book. Yet it wasn't that simple. I was the writer, but not the character's consciousness. I couldn't make them do what I liked or force situations to go as I preferred. I was the conduit, not the creator. My job was to tell the story, not to fix it, which is, like, important for, like, authors to really understand. Like, Daniel Black, brilliant writer, honestly. I'm going to read more of his work after this. Okay, suddenly I heard Dad weeping. I stopped writing and laid the pad and pen on the dashboard. His letters had told me that, for the most part, he'd been a slave. Everything about his rural rearing was a limitation, a restraint that he had no way of escaping. He told me he felt like a slave, and I laughed, but he was serious. I didn't understand what he meant. Everybody's free, I thought, but everybody's not free. The terms of black bondage shifted, he was trying to say, but they didn't vanish. If he'd been a scholar, he might have said they transmuted form, but they did not disappear. I understand this now. He provided for Mom and me so well that, as a child, I didn't see it, black limitation, and that's the achievement of his life, that a slave raised a free man. Only in that dark moment, with ancestors beside me, did I see it, and I've never cried like I did right then. Dad's weeping turned to wailing. At first, I couldn't see him, but I heard him. His unrestrained heart made me anxious. Then he said, "Look at me, son. Let's not be ashamed this time." And I obeyed. And suddenly there he was, in the passenger seat beside me. I saw myself in his watery gaze. We looked alike now, different versions of the same self, the same life, the same past. He stared at me without blinking. He saw me without shame or disappointment. He shook his head slowly, presumably at all he'd misunderstood, and his tears anointed the floor and console of my car. I reached toward him, but he pulled away. Touching was not allowed, I knew that. Still, I think I would have traded a lifetime for the ability to hold his hand. So it's like, that's when he starts realizing that he knew what he needed to do with this story. And he finally, like, forgave his father for everything that he put him through in his whole life and whatnot. And, like, going down there, he had to really be vulnerable with himself so he can understand and understanding himself allowed him to understand his father. And the thing about this is, like, going from Don't Cry for Me to Isaac's Song, we hear how Jacob had his own voice from his own perspective, but then with Isaac's, the way that Isaac saw his father's voice is very different. Like in this book, he talks about how he came to realize that his father was smarter and not as ignorant as he initially assumed, because he's like, my father only had up to an eighth grade education, and he talked very southern like, and he did have great grammar and diction, and he didn't read and whatnot, and that was reflected in how he wrote his voice in a really specific dialect in his journal. And then he starts to realize that, you know, his father isn't as ignorant, and it's like, it shows that he initially saw how he viewed people like his father as really ignorant, and then he's trying to come to understand like that was dead ass wrong, and the way that he viewed his father was not okay, and he started rewriting how he saw his father's voice. But the one part that I really want to read out, I'm not going to talk about like the specific story that Isaac was writing, but because that's what a lot of this is saying. There is, it was on the last page. Excuse me. Hold on a sec. I found it. Okay, so Isaac said, okay. Says, I'm still not totally free. I can admit who I love, but I'm afraid to love them. That's why starting the story was hard for me, because I wanted a private freedom. Yet freedom is never private. I will not hide for you. It will not disguise itself. It takes no refuge in safety. It's a declaration to the world of one's refusal to be bound. And that's the role of the writer, to force a reader's freedom, even when bondage is the preference. I wanted to write a benign story, one I could control. I didn't want to write ours. Ours is messy, complicated, burning, painful, difficult to translate into pretty sentences. He's talking about his family story, or his story with his father and whatnot. But it's the only real story I know, the one I've been sent to tell. Generations of wounded black hearts are waiting for my boldness. This is why I was born. This is why I was sitting there in the dark. Because our American story began in the dark, in the bottom of slave ships, in endless fields of cotton, in miles and miles of treacherous marching. My job was to write, not our facts, but our feelings. And that's what I intended to do. So that right there, one of the most profound passages I've ever read in fiction, honestly. And it pretty much summarizes what I've been saying with, like I said in my previous video about Black history and historical fiction and whatnot, and how people not wanting to read trauma and stories is like really problematic. It's anti-Black. It's just not okay, honestly. Like, you can read fiction to escape, but if that's the only fiction you want to read, then I'm a side eye you, honestly, because what I said in my previous video, go ahead and watch it. I'm gonna link it in the cards. But yeah, I really enjoy these books. I need to get my own copies because these are from the library. But yeah, I'm gonna get my own copies eventually because I will read them again in the future. But that's the end of this vlog. Hope you enjoyed it. I recommend both these books. Go ahead and pick them up. And I don't know what the next vlog is going to be. We'll see. Anyways, see y'all later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.